Hey friends, I'm coming to you this week with a fun journal entry. We're going to be making this fun background and doing some stitching and making this beautiful little Cosmo in our art journals today. You know what? This week has been insane and crazy, and it's going to kind of continue like that for a little bit, but we all need time to create. So I hope you can join me, take a little bit of time for yourself, and let's be creative. It'll just make our days better, don't you think? All right, don't forget, like and subscribe, and I will see you inside. Have fun. So what I'm doing today is I'm taking scratch pieces of watercolor paper. It's not great watercolor paper. It's just a lot of fun to practice on. And I'm just doing circles around and around and around. I went pretty fast on the first one, so I thought I would do this one again. And I'm just going to continue in circles until I decide I like how many passes I have done. I have an idea in my mind for this journal page of a little flower in the middle. And I'll just go back around. Sometimes when you do this with paper, it kind of can fly anywhere it wants. So just make sure you keep your hands on it. I'm going to take it off and cut it. So now you see that I have two circles. I'm going to use the top one. I'm going to draw out a little Cosmo. Well, you're going to love this. I realized as I drew the Cosmo, my big hand was in the way. So let's start again. I'm going to show this to you so you can see it. So let's start with a flat oval, just like that. Next, we're going to add a little petal on top, kind of a rectangle-y shape. I'm going to come to the right side of it and make this one smaller than the first one, but leaning to the right. And then the third one, I'm going to curve it up just a tiny bit and flutter it down like that. And then I'm going to come back to the center and draw this line curving kind of down, and then make another little petal so that it's longer on this side than that side. Next, I'm going to do one that's a little bit shorter and wider, so that'll make it look like it's in the front. And then we're going to come over here and we're going to make another little kind of fatter, wider petal. One more small one up here, and then our last one, I'm going to come up here, flutter, flutter, and then curve it inward. And now we can go back to our regularly scheduled programming. All right, here are my three watercolor pencils, my handy dandy Stabilo, and two little Staedtler pencils. I also have our number 4 round watercolor brush, which I will link in the description below, and my handy dandy jar of water. The way I like to use these pencils is to dip them in the water first and kind of tap it on the side here to get rid of some of the excess water. Now I'm going to go in through here and I'm going to just outline each petal like this. The Staedtler, it's a good watercolor pencil. How can I explain it? It doesn't roll off the pencil when it's wet like the Stabilo does, but when you bring water to it, like I'm gonna do now, it will definitely start moving the color around. Now, I don't want a super dark color on this, so I'm going to just outline the leaves again with the water. And like I said, so they were first wet, and that helps move the color around. And then I'm going to take whatever color is left and bring it through the petals. Now I will keep going back and forth and make sure that my brush is wet. I don't want it sopping wet. Here I'm just adding a little bit more color and see if I can move that through, because I want it to come to the top of the petal. Get my brush wet again, come back, add a little bit more. Yep, come around. And I'm just going to keep moving through this until I like how much I filled in. Now I'm going to take the yellow and the Stabilo. When I use this and I roll it, it's almost like a paintbrush because the color comes off of that pencil tip really, really well. I like that a lot. Now I'm going to come back through with this darker pink and add more color close to the middle and the yellow. And I wet my pencil again, and I'm going to bring some color just around the edges of the middle and keep moving to see if I can get that off the pencil tip. And then I'm going to come back with my watercolor brush, just with water, and move that color around and through the petals. Yep, just kind of outlining. I'm not adding, it's super light, and it's giving it just a little bit of a depth to it. Okie doke, now I'm going to come back in with a green. And move that color around, and I'm going to come back with a darker green and putting it in the water. Here we go, up and down, just to add a little color to that. I like both of those greens together. And I think what I'm going to do is add some of the pink through here. Now, silly me, I did not wet the pencil first, which I usually do. And it seems to be moving okay through here. And I'm just going to come through, pick some color up here, maybe add a little bit in between the threads where I made my circle. Now this area, I'm going to color in a little bit more so that it's darker and I can pick up more color and wipe out some of the line that I used in there, or that I made in there. And then I'm going to take the excess and go back through and give a little blush and a little more color. I love doing the insides of the circles, the overlaps of it. It's just a lot of fun to put color in between those spots. All right, now I'm going to go back through with this little super fine black pen and outline all the petals. It's very, very dry. I'm going to add a little bit more black again down at the bottom of the petal by the center and outline the leaves and continue doing that around the whole flower. Now that that's finished, I'm going to trim around the outside of this circle I sewed. And try not to cut any of the stitches. I'm going to come under because I want to keep this little flip of thread because I like those. Keep going all the way around. Easy peasy. And now we can put it into the journal. Now then, we can't just put the circle in a journal. No, no. We are going to add a little bit of a background to our prepared page. I have my Lindy's Magical Powders in Saltwater Taffy and Whale Watch Blue. I'm going to take a little bit of this powder out with a dry brush and put it into this old plastic lid that I have. And some of the saltwater taffy is going to go there. That one's kind of light, so I'm going to add a little bit more than the Whale Watch Blue. Now what I'll do is I'm going to add some water to my brush and just mix up the colors and get it nice and fluid. Add water to the saltwater taffy. See what a pretty little pink that is. It's kind of a pinky brown, but I like it with the blue. Okay, so that's good and wet. I'm going to add a little bit more color to that saltwater taffy because, like I said, it is fairly light. So I'll add a little more color in here and kind of see what happens. All right, so I'm going to take my stencil and tap it in there, gather up some of that wet color, and I'm going to put it right onto my page. Press down. Now, on this chevron, it won't leave a complete stencil, but that is okay because that's the effect I want. I want very little color on here because I want my flower to stand out. If you want to go back and add more color, of course, please do. You can always line it back up like this and just move that watercolor through that stencil and you'll have a little bit more on your page. So I'm going to add a little bit down here on the bottom. Keep going. And like I said, if you want more color, you can spread it with your finger or you can pick some up with a brush and put it in just like that. All right, I'm going to go dry this and then we'll be back. So here's the piece I cut out. I love my little threads. I like to take them and twist till you have kind of a little knot. And then I'm going to add my art glitter glue right here and glue that right down. So the tip on my art glitter glue needs to be cleaned out. So I took that off and I'm just going to add some more glue in here so we can get this pressed down. I'm going to leave it like this. I don't really want to add any words. I might go back and add the date, but I want to let it sit for a little while and see what I think. I love the way it sits here. I hope you've enjoyed our time together. I hope you like and subscribe. And we will be back next week with a fun new project. See you later, friends.